So the funny story that Jake doesn't know. Okay, Jake, we have a guy on our Instagram. Every time there's a clip posted of you, right? He posts this gif of Chris motionless or like some sort of emo thing of like, it's just a phase, mom. Every time I'm just like, every comment is an engagement. Thanks for getting involved.
You're welcome.
I thought at first I was going to be like, bullying is not funny in the workplace, like that sort of thing. I was going to be like, oh, we don't tolerate that kind of behavior. But actually, the fact that he's commenting on every single one means that it gets more engagement, so it appears in more people's feeds. So actually, like he's doing us a huge favor.
That had shifted significantly come Sunday in Canada.
Do you think he's adopted the Max Verstappen?
I think clearly Max has been grooming him a bit because have you seen all the comments that Max has been making saying, just reminds me of me. I like him. And I think
Hello everybody and welcome back to Ahead of the Apex. I am Josh and today I'm joined once again by Tim and Jake. Say hi boys.
Hi boys.
Nice.
Hello everyone.
Got him. And today we are hyper focusing on Formula One to begin with. So we're looking at the events of Canada because that's all we've had since Miami. And we have got Monaco this weekend, but we're going to focus on the brewing Mercedes war because we were...
Well, brewing. I think it was brewing. I think it's now brewed.
It's brewing over now. It's the pot has started to boil, some might say. And we're going to be taking a look ahead of Monaco because obviously it is the best Saturday of the year this week.
Hell yeah.
Heck yeah.
It's my favorite bit of the whole year, actually.
What, just Monaco Saturday?
Qualifying at Monaco, yeah.
I get it, and it's going to be interesting this year with 22 cars on the grid. We've not had that in a long time.
No, I agree.
Obviously, by the time you listen to this, you'll have seen Monaco. So well done to Charles Leclerc for winning the Monaco Grand Prix again.
Are we just going to list every driver just in case?
Well done to Lewis Hamilton on P2. And of course, Ollie Behrman, great podium. What a place to get your first podium. Yeah. Because obviously, Adjuo is here. The Mercedes compression thing is here. And Ferrari are just goated in Monaco.
Are going to be the best.
So anybody who's in a Ferrari-powered car is going to do well. I feel like we just ruined the entire punchline of the podcast, but whatever. It is officially the 2nd of June. I don't know why I said officially, but it is the 2nd of June.
It's unofficially the 1st of June as well.
Yeah, sure. And the 3rd, I guess. Unofficially, it's Monaco GP weekend. Right
unofficially, it's every day of the year except the 2nd of
June. Which means we have no idea what's going to happen in Monaco. We just record these ahead of time to fit it around our busy lives. How are we, guys?
Good.
Tim, you've missed a couple of recordings recently.
No.
So I haven't sat down in this room with you. Well, we did 2 recordings, didn't we? So that was
sure.
That was one day.
I missed a stint.
You've missed 2 podcasts.
The
viewer, the singular
viewer
I haven't seen you on my editing screen for 2 episodes.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
You must be struggling.
I know. But I see you every day, not just at work, but I also see you when I do all the clips. So,
and in your dreams.
As I said to you yesterday, I was like, you came to have a conversation with me while I'm mid-editing a clip to go on. I was like, I can hear you here, and I can also hear you here. Like, it's too much, Tim. It's too much, Tim.
Never such a thing.
Okay. Jake, how are you?
Yeah, I'm well.
Good. We ready to get into it? Before we get into it, we will also be looking at some questions. We've had some questions. Where's the ping, bing, bing, bing? Not that.
I thought that worked really well.
That did work really well, but I don't think it was the one he was after.
We've had some questions from various people across various platforms. If you want to get questions to us, you can get in touch with us via our social channels. Unfortunately, we do not yet have a contact email, and I believe you can also do WhatsApp these days, which is quite spicy.
Business account.
If you want to get your questions to us, head over to our Patreon. That's the easiest way. Become a member. It's absolutely free. All you need to do is have a Patreon account, which again, absolutely free. There you can get involved with From Our Perspective series, you can get involved with the race chats, and you can send us questions for every single podcast recording. We do one of those every roughly 2 weeks-ish. Alternatively, you can head over to Instagram, TikTok, or Twitter, where all of them are at AAT Apex, including the Patreon. Finally, get in touch with us on Spotify. That also works. The comments appear. We can see those. And while you're there, why not give us a review? That would be great. Are we ready, boys?
Vamos.
Never.
Tim. Canada.
Spicy.
Explain it to me. Like I'm 5.
So there's this country above America.
Nice. Well, it was a very dramatic start. It was a very action-packed start, which, and it just sort of built and built and built. And there was a lot of battling between both the Mercedes, and this really was kind of shaping up to be a 50 lap, knocking the 6 bells out of each other.
Well, we had the sprint as well, right? It was a sprint weekend.
Yeah. It was a sprint weekend.
Do you think it got worse because of the sprint?
Yes.
Do you think the tension that we had in the race was worse because of the sprint? You were very quick to say yes, Jake.
Yes. I just don't like sprints.
What's that got to do with the price of fish?
I just feel like
I don't like jumps.
I think it did, because obviously George and Kimi had their first sort of little tickle of the weekend.
He was naughty.
Where
George was naughty.
George just was being a bit of George Russell.
Did you not hear that radio message?
What, the one that
an Antonelli message?
Yeah.
George was very naughty, which is such a George Russell thing to say, right? Like
It is. I think they clearly have been spending too much time together.
Yeah.
But I think that going into Saturday, I think Kimi felt like there were points taken away from him on the Sunday. Going into the Sunday, I think Kimi felt like there were points taken away from him.
Yeah.
From that Saturday race. So probably there would have been a bit more elbows out. And I think he's normally quite an aggressive driver.
Yeah.
But I think, to me at least, this indicated really one step beyond. And I don't think he was giving Russell as much respect as he has done previously. I think a lot of obviously he's in a 4-race win streak, but in the other, definitely 2.
Well, he is now. He wasn't at the time.
Fine. He was on a 3-race win streak. But I think those races were won on pure pace. There wasn't much battling between the two of them.
Yeah.
And I think when you go back to Australia
was Russell's only
was when
win.
George won. There was,
but Kimi had a bad quali.
Yeah. But I think you could see that he was giving Russell quite a lot of respect.
Yeah.
Whereas I think that had shifted significantly come Sunday in Canada.
Do you think he's adopted the Max Verstappen?
I think clearly Max has been grooming him a bit, because have you seen all the comments that Max has been making saying, just reminds me of me. I like him. And I think when someone like Max says that about you, you're going to be like, okay, I'm going to do more of that. Yep. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
So yes, I think that definitely he's looked at Max as the driver he wants to model himself off. I don't think he had a massively removed start point from doing that.
No.
But I think definitely you can see more Max in him than you can, for example, Lewis or Fernando, which I think a lot of the drivers that have come in, this is the grouping that they look to try and mold themselves. Whereas I think Behrman is more like Lewis.
Oh, 100%. And I actually see a lot of young Fernando in Max and Kimi.
Sure. Yeah.
And I know that was, you were not born, but every time, it comes up every time on this podcast. How do we keep doing this? But anyway, young Fernando.
Jealousy.
Young Fernando used to drive like that. And then he sort of matured into sort of a more Lewis, a more Schumacher kind of role, even though sort of Schumacher did that earlier in his career.
I mean,
he had more success.
Seb was like it as well.
Oh, Seb was super aggressive in like 09, 10 and 11. And then like once the success came, he was like, okay, I need to...
Which is what Max has done as well.
Yeah. Race exactly what Max has done. Yeah,
I think it's... Because obviously Kimi at the start of the year hadn't won a race, if I'm not mistaken.
No, Kimi has taken all of his
race
4 race wins
back to
consecutively,
back.
which puts him on a list of 1.
Yeah.
Legend.
I think it comes with sort of race winning experience, and the better you do in the sport, the more aggressive you get. And then you realise, maybe I should do this.
There are 22 races this year, right? No, there were 24.
Oh.
If Kimi wins all of them,
except obviously Monaco.
We've
already called that one.
So if Kimi wins all of them, if Kimi wins the next 20, what would be
18.
17, then he takes 21 wins back to back. Right? Hear me out. He is only 11 race wins behind Fernando Alonso.
What, now or then?
Then. By the time we get to the end of the season, he will only be 11 race wins behind Fernando Alonso.
Yeah, okay, fine.
That is a huge if. That is a huge if.
A huge if, and also you got to remember that the seasons are significantly longer and whatever else.
Yes.
But
it's a huge if.
Yeah. Well, we've spoken about comparing between...
We're going to get bored of talking about him if he does that.
Eras. Well, I mean, we did get bored last year.
Of talking about the McLarens.
Yeah.
God, thank God for Max Verstappen last year. Otherwise, what would we have talked about?
Oh, it would have been a tough, Yeah. It would have been tough.
Carry on with the Silver War. We interrupted.
Yeah, fine. So okay,
we get to the race.
So we get to the race. Obviously, Kimi Kimi's seeing red a little bit. Well, I think he's seeing sort of maroon. And Quali's second to Russell.
Yep.
Russell gets away well, but it's then just sort of relentless between the two of them.
Yeah.
And of course, historically, McLaren, oh my God, Freudian slip.
Historically, McLaren.
Historically, Mercedes have been very strong in Canada. And it was always sort of the anomaly of the last few seasons where they performed really well, having not performed very well at a lot of other races.
Yeah.
So they were sharp favourites and very quickly just drove off, and it was really a battle of two.
Even though they were knocking 7 bells of hell out of each other.
It did feel a bit Nico Lewis.
It felt very Nico Lewis.
Time.
Yeah.
And the event, basically just... It got a bit spicy at the final chicane, and Toto had to come in and go, right, boys, let's calm down a bit, which is always quite fun.
Kimi chose to ignore that.
Yeah, Kimi then went, who are you? And then blew up George's engine.
Yes, so Mercedes seemed to think it was a module failure with the PU, which is exactly what McLaren said about their double DNS in China. So this sounds like Mercedes' problem again.
Yeah.
That obviously brought out the VSC. Antonelli just walked it from that point.
Yeah, I mean, I think he finished 20-something, 30-something seconds up the road.
Ahead of Max and Lewis, but the other way around. But it was Max to begin with.
Yeah, and Lewis nicked him at the end.
Yeah, so to go on to that was a cool fight.
Very cool fight.
That was a very cool fight. So Max was in second quite comfortably, one might say, because of the middle stint, the post-VSC stint, he was quite quick. But very quickly, tyres fell off, and Lewis was chunking out.
There. I think yet again, I don't know how Ferrari managed to do this, but they always seem to build a car that is fantastic on one set of tyres and pretty shit on the rest of them.
Do you think they only test on one set of tires at Maranello? Is that the problem?
They only get one. Yeah, they only have one. Once. I think it was the mediums this week, or the V3s. I think they always go like, let's just be brilliant on the V3s because they're always going to be there.
Yeah.
And then
everything else is irrelevant.
Everything else is kind of a bit shaky.
Yeah.
They qualified poorly.
Really poorly.
Which was unexpected this week.
But it is it wasn't an energy starved race, but it was an energy critical race, right? So it's not quite like what Saudi could have been or what China was, but it's not what Monaco is going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it felt like a transition between the two, which I liked. I think it felt definitely less Mario Karty.
It seemed much more balanced.
Which I think is a good sign. We as much as we've been critical, we need to be.
Dare I say it? Martin Brundle might have been right.
Yeah.
No, because Max and Lewis showed that this is possible. So Lewis built up to get within the overtake space. A couple of laps behind Max, and then he dives down the outside of turn 1, pulls off the move. It's weird what happens when the overtaking driver is given space, George. But and then but then even though Max was struggling on his tires, he was then able to cling onto the back, right? So there wasn't this dirty air is still going to be a problem, but there wasn't this, I've been overtaken, so now I have to drop back 3 seconds. For my own pace moment, right?
But we had that, and I think this again goes back to our sentiment about regulations. And the start of the regulations is always a bit more like this.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that in 2 years, 3 years' time, it will be the same as it was, right? But I think right now, it doesn't feel massively different to me than 22 did, in that you could cling on and you could come back. But it's just that the closing speed is much more aggressive.
Yeah, it seems a little bit easier to do the overtake.
Yeah, if you have the stronger setup / tires / whatever, overtaking is much easier. But if you are the inverse, you also can hold on a little bit more.
Yeah.
Which, it's fine.
Yeah. I would love to tell you what else happened in the Canadian Grand Prix, but we didn't see any of it. We only saw the George Russell.
Oh, the TV fight, commentary.
And then we
coverage.
only saw the Lewis Max fight. Realistically, I do know that, unfortunately, Jake, McLaren had a shocker.
Yep.
Well, that was a strategy blunder. They just walked into the party and decided.
How are you feeling? Because, like you said, you hate the sprints, but obviously Norris got a great sprint result thanks to George being naughty.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Naughty George.
It's so funny. And Piastri got P4.
Yep.
But then the race turns up and it was wet, or it had been wet, and it was
previously wet,
and they didn't move the race, which is
I was disappointed, really.
Phenomenal. They did try and delay it as much as possible with 3 formation laps.
You can't just change the race.
You can't just. No, you can. You can. You just move the race.
You just move it. And if it's too late to move it, you just do 3 formation laps.
Yeah, then you just walk around for an hour.
You push Arvid Lindblad's car back up the pit straight for some reason while the cars are trying to line up on the grid, because that seems like a good idea to do, right? Marshall's on track, car moving wrong way as cars are doing their burnouts. That seems tip-top. Why did they not just push him forward and into the end of the pit lane? I still don't get that. But just do 3 formation laps and then the track will be dry. So, welcome to the Ferrari clown show. How do you feel?
Well, just a caveat to that. This is the one instance this year that we've had a sort of strategic failure. You've had it for decades.
We haven't had a single strategic failure this year.
Yeah, for the first time ever.
How's it feel?
First year in a while.
And then, have you seen the clip that's going around at the minute? It was, because obviously they're in North America. So Zach was in America doing some media things for the team. And there's a clip going around at the minute that's like, yeah, we use Gemini we would be nowhere without Gemini. We use Gemini for like the team organization, moving things around the world. We use it for car development, car design, strategy, race, live telemetry processing, all of this stuff. And like the top comment is, did you use it for Inters in Canada? It's just the cream of the internet. Anyway, back to McLaren. Obviously, they turned up on the grid in Inters. And then we did 3 formation laps. And Oscar Piastri's going, guys, I'm not sure about this. Like the track is dry. And we look like idiots. And please let me pit for dries. And McLaren said,
no.
And then they go around again. And he says the same thing. And McLaren say, no. And then they do the same thing. Line up. McLaren say no. Norris takes the lead somehow into turn 1.
Because it was wet for like 2 corners.
And then they immediately both have to pit. Like within sort of 8 laps, they both had to pit.
Yeah. I think they just wore the wrong outfit to the party.
Nice. Good metaphor.
And, I mean, in the end, did it really matter for Lando?
Well, for Lando, no. But
no, that's true.
One might argue that
if he wasn't racing in the midfield the whole time.
This is the Zandvoort from last year thing. And I remember saying this actually. I said he drives like a chav when he was chasing down Piastri. And if he hadn't been driving like a chav, maybe his engine wouldn't have overheated.
Yep.
And he wouldn't have retired. Maybe. He had a gearbox issue, right?
See, when Piastri's in the midfield, he just crashes into the wall.
That's true. Or Alex Albon.
Yeah.
As he did this weekend.
Yeah, that was a weird move.
That was not very Piastri.
No. I think he was pissed off about his tyres.
Yeah. Then he obviously gets a 10-second penalty, has to change front wing, and just finished 11th. So, no points.
No.
Nil points. And then, Norris retires with the gearbox issue. One might argue if he wasn't in the midfield doing all those gear shifts, then he might have made it. Who knows? It could have been a temperature thing, right? Could have been a temperature.
Could have been.
It could have been, or it could have been a broken seal or anything like that.
I don't think it was a temperature. It was cold as Canada. It's not, you're not overheating that badly.
It was cold. Colder than it should have been.
It was cold. Whereas obviously
I
Ferrari,
like I was there.
Ferrari are better in the warm.
Like Monaco
and Bahrain
on the Riviera.
Bring on the Bahrain.
Wow, we're not going to Bahrain.
No, I know, but that's I like Bahrain.
You and I might go to Bahrain.
Oh yeah,
that's gonna be spicy.
Potentially, that'd be cool.
You want to read the question?
Well, so the question from our loyal listener Val. Thank you for your question. It was, why did McLaren and a few others start on Inters? Now, Val, that is a fantastic question.
That's a question Zach Brown is still asking himself.
The thing is, he even asked Gemini afterwards, and he was like, that is the best question I've ever heard.
That's what Gemini said, yeah?
And the reason is because they're dumb.
Yes.
And
I think they looked at, there was rumours of rain, but the rain never came. And it's interesting from a team that won the longest ever race at Canada when they were switching tyres left, right and centre. And they didn't think, we should be on the same tyre as everybody else. That seems like a good decision.
I also think, dare I say it again, papaya rules. Because why didn't they split strategy?
What a comeback.
Why didn't one of them not go on Inters? And I think it was because they don't know how to do that.
They don't know how to
They don't know how to go, hang on, maybe we're wrong, but who do they give the non-Inter tyre to? And they've buried themselves in this.
What is GP going to do when he goes there? Because
tell Zach to shut up.
But he's been at a team where they just forget they have a second car most of the time. And now he's got to think, well, how do we make it fair on both cars?
No. I think he'll just bin off the whole idea of papaya rules.
Can't wait. That's such a throwback, though. We haven't talked about papaya rules in about 6 months.
I know, but see, that to me was nuts, right? Because I think if they didn't put this flag in the ground, then why wouldn't they have listened to Oscar? Because Lando wasn't bitching.
No. Lando wanted the Inters.
Exactly. So why would they not give Oscar the others when they were just driving around at 2 miles an hour? Now, I think that's probably because they were like, well, if Oscar's right, Lando looks like an idiot.
Yeah.
And I
also
it
think,
needs to be equal.
We've said this about the Ferrari drivers before. If Oscar just pits Right?
Yeah, he does the Carlos Sainz approach.
If Oscar just
I'm
pits,
pitting.
McLaren aren't going to just stand there like lemons, right? They're not. The pit crews aren't going to just stand there like lemons. If Oscar pits on the formation lap, it's obvious what he wants. The question is which tyre. And by that point, he can say, guys, I'm in the pit lane, get the mediums.
Exactly. I think this is what Carlos did at Ferrari
Yeah.
so successfully, was just, nope, not feeling it. I'm pitting in one lap.
Yeah. So why doesn't your team do that, Jake?
Papaya roll.
Yeah, it's got to be either papaya rules or kind of the structure doesn't benefit the drivers in making their decisions because they've got so many controlling people in terms of strategy and the way they run.
There's a whole council, isn't there?
Yeah.
Pit wall. It's crazy.
I can't imagine it's a quick.
Do they have the biggest
quick
pit wall
decision.
I think so. And I don't think, I think if that was, it's never a conversation between two people,
No.
which I think is what you're saying. And that to me is just, because it's obviously two people in Gemini. But it means that you can't be dynamic.
You know Zach's got the Gemini voice set to the annoying American female voice. You just know.
I don't, probably.
The one to have is the Irish male voice.
Are you going out or?
No, it's just the best AI voice. Just saying. They just nailed it.
It just, to me, I think it's, and you can go back to last year and say the reason that it was relatively close at the end was because they weren't dynamic.
Yeah.
It's because they weren't able to adapt, and they just had, as Braun did, a good first half where they had very little competition besides each other. And even though it was just between each other, they could finish 1-2, 2-1-3, whatever, pretty comfortably. But then when it actually came to a point where they needed to make decisions quickly, they didn't, and that's why it
almost so close.
Almost failed toward the end.
Yeah, it's felt like not necessarily at the start of last year, but sort of from sort of the summer break onwards, it's very much felt that everything that happens in the race at McLaren has been pre-decided.
Yes, exactly.
That it's been, they always have that team briefing beforehand, and sometimes Mercedes film it and whatever, and it's been in Drive to Survive and stuff. But it feels like that is where everything gets decided at McLaren.
Yeah.
Pit stops, timings, everything. And it never gets changed. You never hear like target lap plus whatever very often from McLaren, but from other teams, it's quite regular when things start to change.
Trust me, you don't want to start hearing things like plan A plus 15.
Plan D2.
You don't want to hear that.
You don't have plan.
You don't want to hear that.
Plan A plus
I'm
whatever.
telling
You
you right
have
now.
like plan A, plan B, plan C, and then until you get to Z.
There is a small part of my body that like trembles in fear every time I see Charles Leclerc's name and the radio message appear. there is a small part of me that's like, what now?
I would like to.
What has happened now?
I would like to know what happens when you get to plan Z and then you have another plan.
Oh, that's plan AA.
Are you sure though, or is it not plan like
It's
Z1?
like Excel. You just keep going.
Yeah. Well, no, because you know that they're written in an Excel spreadsheet. That's
Right.
like
Yeah. And of course, rather than going down, they go across. Because why would you go down?
Yeah, use more data going right than down.
You fix the first column so you know what the plan is, and then you just scroll across.
Yeah, sure.
Do you think this is a symptom of people like Horner and Toto being themselves quite successful racers, or at least have a greater heritage and appreciation within the sport? You know, for example, Toto's crash at the Nürburgring. Was it the Nürburgring? He had a big crash.
What?
Did you know about this? Toto, when he was an amateur racer, had a rather big crash at the Nürburgring. So I think...
Oh, shit, yeah. Okay.
So does that lend... Or do they... It's a really big crash, yeah.
189 miles an hour driving a Porsche 911 RSR. Jesus.
Yeah, it was a scary one. But do you... to me, I think what that does, and you see this at Mercedes and at Red Bull, the authority is the primary authority is in the hands of drivers. Whereas I don't think you have that at McLaren. Not to take anything away from Zach's decorated racing career, but I think it's too much in the hands of...
Yeah, and on the opposite end of the spectrum, Ferrari is too much in the hands of the team.
Yeah, similar story.
And not anywhere near the driver.
I always go back to, and we've spoken every time you ask me about like highlights and things, I always go back to Barcelona with Mercedes.
Yeah.
And remember they published the radio commentary, or the internal radio, and it was the strategist going to Toto, and they said, I think we could, if we pit now, we could chase over this period of time. And then Toto was like, okay, ask Lewis. And that was pretty much it was, right, what does Lewis want to do?
Yeah, it was James to Toto on a public channel with Bono to Lewis. Lewis agreed. There was basically next to zero communication on the way back.
But to me, the thing that I thought was really interesting was it felt, first of all, yes, you're right. It was completely one-way traffic, but the goal was to get the message or to get the suggestion to the driver as quickly as possible. Yeah. And as soon as that decision gets made, to then initiate it.
Yeah.
Now, again, fine, they were under a bit of time pressure because they needed to pit within half a lap or something.
Yeah.
But that I think is interesting, and I don't think you'd ever see that from McLaren.
McLaren,
and I don't know if
the
that's because
it
of
goes from
Andrea.
Like one head of something to another head of something to another head of something to another head of something, then back to Zach, and then back round, and then eventually it's like we should ask Oscar. We should see what Oscar says. By the time they've done that,
it's too late.
The checkered flag is out.
And I think this is why Andrea Stella obviously is a fantastic team principal. And I think last year showed how he likes to race, which is very calculated with great machinery to move forward.
Yeah.
I also think the problem the problem is they want to do this, but they can't get to Zach because he's always talking to Sky Sports.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, Zach, we need to talk about this," and he's like, "Shut up! I'm talking to Martin."
Yeah,
on the pit wall.
Or Karun,
yeah, of course.
Or he's messing around with Gemini.
Yeah. Or he's fiddling about with Gemini.
And he's like, hang on 1 second, guys.
Whereas at Ferrari, you get the feeling that like the drivers make the decision and it goes up to their race engineers.
It goes backwards.
Yeah. Then it goes to the head of something. And then it goes to Bobo the chimp, who he's in charge of he's in charge of race strategy. And then it goes from Bobo to his assistant, right? And then they throw a dart at dartboard, and then somebody...
and then there's a very small sliver that says, "Tell Fred."
Yeah, and then that goes back to... what's her name, who apparently just runs the Ferrari F1 team. She's got red hair. I feel like she's called Karina or something.
Oh, that girl.
That girl.
Then that goes to her. Seb.
Yeah, and then it goes back to Fred, and then Fred says, "Lewis, you're a G." Or Luigi, or whatever he said to him. And then it comes back down the order, and then by the time that's happened, the checkered flags come out, and Bobo's gone on a retirement break.
I think, I don't disagree with you, but I think, to me, it goes... I think it's the same as Mercedes, but the opposite way around.
The driver's asked for
So I think the driver
no.
makes the first suggestion, and then... But it just way, way, way more slowly gets back to Fred. And then once it gets to Fred, I think Fred's normally like, yeah, right. But I think it just seems like the trust is in the data or in the performance analytics or AWS or whatever you want to say.
Well, Ferrari is Palante, right? That's too busy fighting wars right now. Whereas Gemini is too busy drawing phalluses on cars or whatever people use Gemini to do.
Or changing women's clothes on Twitter.
That's Grok.
That is Grok. But yeah, I think it seems like where teams value, or the perspective that teams value the most is really stark and very different from one another.
Yeah.
And I think if you take a net average, the teams that value the driver perspective have typically been far more successful.
At least over the last 15 years.
And, oh my God, it's all coming together. I think they were doing that with Michael at Ferrari.
Yeah. We just never heard the radio messages.
Yeah. But I have a feeling that probably.
You're not telling me that Jean Todt, who is French, was making a decision.
I think Ross Brawn turned around to Michael and went, Michael, do you want to do this? And Michael went, yeah, mint. And that was it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was it.
I think,
and maybe Kimi to some extent as well did that, who is of course the last person that won anything.
yeah, I feel like Ferrari is a weird case. I don't think it matches anyone else's team dynamic
You're a
on the
weird
grid.
case.
I feel like it's all right. I feel like it's.
Hang on, put the hat on.
I don't. God, throwing hats at me now.
You've done about 12 podcasts now. If you do another 8, you'll get one.
He
Okay,
says,
cool.
he says, I think hat.
Speculation.
That's how the hat appears.
Oh, you're not in camera.
Oh, shit.
No,
Never mind.
I'm just, we're not getting any more emo gifts.
So I'm not featuring anyone
I've
because
cut
they're
you
not.
out.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. It's either that or I give you a haircut.
I've already had one. Yeah, so I feel like
He did the thing.
he did. I tried to ignore it. I feel like with Ferrari, it's not the case of the team dynamic changing it like it is McLaren, where it's kind of pre-planned. I feel like they are asking the drivers, but it's taking so long for the message to work its way through to Fred. And Fred's just like, when was this asked? Oh, about 10 laps ago. Why 10 laps ago? Why did it take this long to get to me? I think that's...
Yes, I agree.
I feel like
absolutely agree.
the message doesn't travel fast enough in between the drivers and Fred, whereas McLaren, it feels pre-organised.
Yeah.
So the question's never asked in the first place.
I also feel this might be nicely communicated with a thought about how often do you hear the team principals on the radio?
Toto quite a lot.
You don't hear Fred very much.
No.
No, I don't think he's on it.
Well, except when
That's what I
he says-
mean.
I don't think he
Except
gets...
when he calls Lewis Luigi. Honestly, that clip of him and Ted. Did you watch Ted?
Yeah, but that's at the end of the
No,
race.
no, but did you watch Ted?
No.
Did you watch Ted's notebook? He
didn't.
went and found Fred Vasseur after the race and said, "What did you call Lewis over the radio? Old G or something?" And Fred just goes, "Oh, Luigi," and then like unhinged cackles for about 10 minutes. It's like,
I do think that's a brilliant joke, though.
and it's like, Fred, are you okay? Like, what have they done to you? Like, it was honestly, it was an uncomfortably long laugh.
No, I think that's hilarious.
Yeah, but it was too long.
No,
It was-
I
it was too
think
long.
I think that warrants about 4
I've
minutes.
never
of
heard a
laughter.
grown man laugh for that long.
Okay, right. I'll have to Google it.
Right, can we talk about George's sulk?
Yeah, we can.
George spitting his dummy out. So, for those who may not consume Formula One via Instagram, you or have only just started watching, you may have forgotten a very important thing that happened in 2024, which was that George Russell and Max Verstappen ran into each other at the Baku Grand Prix. You remember this? In the sprint? And George said, "Yeah, well, I had cold tires." And Max goes,
I love this clip.
And Max goes, "Yeah, buddy, we all had cold tires. It's called just being respectful. There's no need to run into the side of somebody." And George like basically starts walking away, and Max Verstappen calls him a dickhead. Like in part.
You hear it, yeah.
And you hear it on the camera, right? And obviously Brundle apologized. Anyway, later that year at the Qatar Grand Prix, there was an incident where George was on he was technically on a timed lap, but he was not anywhere near his qualifying pace. He was on a build lap, but it was technically his second lap out of the pits. Technically. Max is also doing the same thing. So George speeds up when he sees Max, gives a little wiggle of the steering wheel, and then says, "Oh, Max blocked me," and then takes him to the stewards. And Max came out afterwards and was like, "I have never seen somebody try so hard to get somebody else a penalty in my entire life." And even the stewards were like, "We'll just give him a one-place penalty. Like, this is ridiculous." But George comes at the start of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, like in the media on the Thursday, and he says he can't deal with adversity. When things don't go his way, he lashes out with unnecessary anger and borderline violence. We've seen it in Brazil with Ocon, 21 with Lewis in Mexico with Lando. In Budapest, where he doesn't have a dominant car, he crashes into Lewis, slamming his whole team.
I think that was good. You didn't stress it enough though.
Would you like to give it a go?
unnecessary anger and borderline violence.
He's yes.
That
that's much
certainly is one of the best clips in recent times.
in recent times. Yeah.
Borderline violence.
Now, Jake, would you say that Canada was adverse for George Russell?
Do
you think he faced adversity?
I feel like the only adversity that he dealt with was from his own car.
Well, and I guess Kimi.
No, like I think Kimi was faced. It was.
But George is the chosen one. He's supposed to bring balance to the force.
Does that mean Kimi has the high ground?
Kimi had the high ground.
Oh, he does. Look at him in the championship. He's way above him.
43 points ahead in the championship.
Yeah, I feel like Kimi was fighting aggressively, yes. But I feel like if George hadn't have been... There is a point where being aggressive attacking and being aggressive defensively will cause a crash. They were very close to that level. And I feel like it wasn't Antonelli's fault as much as George's.
Okay.
I feel like George
it's a bold
brought...
strategy, Garden. Let's see if it pays off for them.
I think things weren't going his way.
Yeah,
Yes.
it felt like George was playing against himself more than Antonelli was playing against him.
Okay, let's look at the second part of that sentence. When things don't go his way, did things go George's way?
Not really.
And then he says, Tim?
He lashes out with unnecessary anger
And
borderline violence. Which he did. He threw his neck cushion and
headrest, yeah.
Did he get a fine for that?
He did. Well, no. It's a delayed fine. I don't know why.
Yeah, they've taken it out of his ISA allowance.
So it's a €5,000 fine.
That's way too small for that.
Which is tiny. But, so I've always wondered this, like, because we used to see it all the time when drivers would crash, that they would, like, in anger, they would throw their steering wheel across the front of the car and out. Like Lewis and Nico, when they crashed in Spain, like, throw the steering wheel out. I'm fairly certain there's a rule that says the car has to finish the race with the steering wheel and the headrest in place, right? Unless, obviously, it's damaged, like in Grosjean's incident. But I'm fairly certain.
Yeah, they should have given
the
5-second penalty to Grosjean.
Yeah.
That car finished in half.
I know, but I'm fairly certain the car has to be in as fewer pieces as possible, right? So obviously, if it's front wing damage or the wheel falls off or whatever, like, but the steering wheel has to go in. And like I was seeing drivers run back through Parc Fermé to put the steering wheel back in because they've forgotten to do that.
I'm pretty sure I don't know what the rules are now with it, but I'm pretty sure it used to be a just disqualification.
Well, yeah, but it doesn't matter because he didn't finish. But he throws his headrest out the car and then walks away.
And then he punches his car.
Oh yeah, true.
That was the borderline violence that I was thinking about.
So he breached Article 12.2.1.h.
Sorry. I just hate it when people do that.
Which is the ahead of the apex rule? We should know this. Article 33.7. Which states any unsafe act or failure to take reasonable measures, thus resulting in an unsafe situation. I wouldn't say it was unsafe, but he did definitely. Well, I guess it put the marshals in more harm's way than they needed to be because they had to go in front of the car to pick the headrest up.
And be on track for longer.
Then he aura farms. Let's be honest. That pose where he's looking at his car getting wheeled, he did that entirely just to get some more camera time.
Well, of course he did. He's got a massive ego and a tiny chance of winning a title.
There, like staring at the car like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Then he had a bit of a sulk on a marshal's bench.
Yeah.
Where he was man-spreading.
Naughty boy.
Then he puts his helmet back on for some reason. And then starts to make his way back to the pit lane. Then he arrives at the pit lane and his helmet's suddenly gone.
I think he put his helmet on because he was crying.
Yeah. Had a little chin wag with Toto, who came mid-race while Antonelli's leading the race to come and see him.
Yeah, but that's because Toto just knows he's fine. He doesn't need it.
Isn't he his manager as well?
Toto?
Yeah.
Yeah. But he's Kimi's manager too, so like...
That just feels weird.
It's a weird situation because Toto has to negotiate with Toto when Toto comes to do George's contract with Toto.
What if they breach? They both breach their contract.
Yeah,
and Toto has to discuss Kimi's and George's contract with himself. So you just have 3 mirrors.
Yes, I think what Toto has done is hire somebody to sit on behalf of him and hire somebody to sit on behalf of Mercedes in these meetings.
Possibly, yes.
So that he doesn't have to make any decisions whatsoever because he's too busy aura farming. He's looking a bit hench.
He is, and just whenever it cuts to him in the garage, which again, I think it's so cool that he doesn't sit on the pit wall and someone.
Well, because he's not interested in talking to Karun Chandhok.
Exactly. But I just like the fact he sits in the garage, normally with Dorian Pan.
With his headband on.
And he's just there and it just cuts to him and he just goes.
Yeah, there seems to be a lot more drivers sitting behind him these days.
Yeah.
Because it was just Dorian Pan for a while, but now it's Vesti.
Yeah.
And who's the reserve?
Well, they don't need to do any bloody sim work because they're just so much better than everyone else.
That's true.
It's like, you might as well come watch.
It's true. Anthony Davidson does the sim work and he clearly is the GOAT. Like we maybe judged him too harsh in the mid-2000s because clearly...
and his...
Well, he was in Super Geary.
And his WEC stuff is pretty good.
His WEC commentary is phenomenal. Yeah, I'll give it to him there.
He's very, very, experienced and...
I was watching some highlights last night of the 2005 Monaco Grand Prix, and I was very surprised to hear the voice of Jenson Button, Jake's goat, who was commentating on the 2005 Monaco Grand Prix. Now, the reason I was quite surprised about that is because Jenson Button was still racing in 2005.
Wasn't that the fuel incident with Honda?
Was the fuel incident. I was going to ask you what you thought, what it could have been. They were running 2 fuel tanks.
Well, it was a fuel tank with an extra little bit at the bottom.
Yes. And that was to do 2 things: lower the center of mass and change the way that fuel load moves. But didn't they also fill it up at the start of the race when they were getting weighed? And then
so
there was something to do with weight of the car. It was very, very clever.
There was 3 ways that it was basically giving them advantage. Not only extra fuel that was being burnt, which inherently, if you burn more fuel, you go faster.
More power, more fast.
Obviously when you brake,
How much you still remembers? It's 21 years ago.
Mate, it's Honda.
Power of dreams.
Earth car. It's to do with, I think a lot of it is to do with the moving of fuel when it's under braking and when it's accelerating. But it is also, I think, the main reason why they got basically banned from a few races rather than just disqualified from the first initial race they were found out, was because they filled it up at the start of a race. They gave the measurement that they put into the actual fuel tank, which whatever it was, it's like now it's 100 kilograms. And they just casually had extra fuel sat there that gave them extra weight inherently, which, bearing in mind how powerful weight used to be, just gave them a massive advantage.
So, yes, F1 minimum weight rules stated that a car had to weigh 600 kilograms with the fuel tank drained.
Yeah.
BAR Honda claimed the extra 10 litres in the hidden secondary chamber was an engine collector required to keep the fuel pump submerged and wasn't usable during the race. Because the hidden fuel accounted for the ballast needed to meet the minimum weight, the car's true weight was actually significantly lower during the race itself, allowing for faster lap times. So they would fill it up at the start of the race. In the second stint, they would run underweight, and then they would fill it up at the end so that they were back to being normal weight.
Yeah. There's also a case of in qualifying that they only used that fuel tank. So the actual main one was empty.
They were discovered during Jensen's own success. Following the 2005 San Marino Grand Prix,
podium.
Jenson Button finished third. The FIA rigorously drained Jenson Button's car. When drained, the car... I know.
The car weighed 4 grams.
When drained, the car tipped the scales at 594 kilograms.
6 under.
6 kg.
They also, at the time, I remember them arguing about the fact that Jenson was taller, so that accounted for the weight difference.
Yeah, both
He was
Button,
6 kilograms taller.
both Button
6
and
kilograms is
Sato
a
were
lot.
disqualified from Imola. The FIA International Court of Appeal ultimately found the team guilty and banned them for 2 races.
Yep.
Spain and Monaco. Yeah.
So, Jensen, how would you be doing if you were out there right now?
It was
been really
honestly, it
awkward.
was like that. The start happened. It's so weird. Go and watch it if you haven't seen it. It's on YouTube. The start happened, and both Webber and who was his team, Heidfeld, in the BMW Williams, got really bad starts. And Jensen was like, they've been doing that all season. It's been really good for us. And, and Martin's like, yeah. Yeah, I'm sure the extra 6 kilos that you saved on weight was probably really good for you as well.
Really
wasn't it?
helpful.
Anyway, back to George Russell. His fine of €5,000 is delayed, which means he doesn't have to pay it unless he commits another offence within the next 12 months.
What?
But does that mean if he causes another offence, does he have to pay just that one, or does he have to pay
He
that
has to
one?
pay this
and
The
one
next,
and
the
the
next
other
one's
one.
then delayed. So then he's just always paying one fine before his.
Like
actual
these guys are
offences.
supposed to be role models for people in F2 and F3
He's head
and
of the
karting.
GDPA.
Exactly. Why are we not holding them to
GPDA.
bigger account
Yeah.
for their actions? Like people
It's
gave
okay though,
Max.
mate. He did apologise to the marshals for making their job harder than it should be and setting a bad example.
Okay, cool, but you should have
He
been
should
fined
just
more.
offered to pay the money.
What
Yeah.
Max had to do community service.
Pay
right?
the
When-
money.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, just
Like-
saying.
Pay the money.
These guys are setting examples for like kids and how to act. So they should be held to a higher standard.
Just
should they
move
not?
the fine.
Just move the fine. There were some other bits you probably missed in the Canadian Grand Prix, but we're going to talk about them next week because at the end of this, we're going to talk about Monaco. We have a question. Jake, would you like to read the question?
If I can see the question.
The question comes from @KJellovile, Jello Lavile on Instagram. Sorry if I've butchered that.
What is Adua and where is it going?
It sounds like you need me to answer this question as well. What is Aduo and where is it
That
coming?
was so brilliantly. Please get in touch with us if you want to have this butchering
Please get in
treatment
touch with us
of
because
both your name and question.
please get in touch with us.
We're more than happy to
I
be
will
of
make
service.
Jake read the questions out every time if you get in touch with us. And honestly, make your ats, really difficult to read. Yeah.
Take 2.
So Tim, what is Aduo and where is it coming?
Additional development and upgrade opportunity.
Oh baby.
This is the engine stuff.
Yes.
So this is around everyone but Ferrari, basically, and Williams. No, Williams are Mercedes.
You mean Aston?
Yes. This is basically just Mercedes engine is a bit too good, and Red Bull, bit
And
too
Red
good.
Bull.
So they are not allowed to
Spend any more money.
basically.
It's extra budget. It's
a quenching on development of the power units, but
yes.
only for certain teams.
Yes. So
Does that mean it's a similar situation to what Yamaha got last year in MotoGP?
it's concession in MotoGP. That's
Yes.
exactly what it is. Yes, it's a concession system. So it presents an opportunity for any of the 5 engine manufacturers, and that's the important thing. It's not the teams. It's not extra budget for the teams. It's extra budget for the power unit development.
So McLaren and Williams don't get extra
they
budget.
don't get any extra
No.
money. Mercedes would,
power
but
unit
because the
team do.
Mercedes power unit is so good, they don't get fuck all.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
And you'll be
Ferrari.
happy with it.
It's Ferrari, Honda, and
Audi
yes,
that have qualified. Speculation is that Red Bull haven't qualified. None of the
No.
teams have confirmed whether or not
Ferrari?
they will qualify. Ferrari have qualified.
So that means Cadillac as well then.
There is more rumours.
Just keep it on, mate.
There is more rumours that Ferrari have been intentionally sandbagging since the 2 races in Bahrain and Saudi Arabia were cancelled, because it was supposed to be 4 opportunities at 6 race intervals, right? But obviously, we're only at round 5 and we're nearly halfway through the season in terms of time,
Yeah. It's a fair
because
point.
the races will come thick and fast soon.
It
And
feels like we've scheduled this season awfully.
so the FIA decided that they would bring it in after Canada. So that's where it's coming. It's coming after Canada. So it's active now. The teams will know now. and essentially takes the engine speeds, torques, and other metrics that the FIA can measure, and it weighs them on how good they are in various elements, because obviously teams will be better at certain tracks, so looking at raw lap time is not suitable. And then there are concessions, so it's exactly like MotoGP. Anybody between 2 and 4% off the benchmark will get an extra allowance of up to $3 million. 4 to 6%, $6.3 million. 8 to 10%, $8 million, and any manufacturer judged to be 10% or more off the benchmark will get $11 million. So well done, Honda, on your $11 million.
Congratulations.
Congratulations on securing $11 million. And it does go to the engine department. So with Red Bull, if Red Bull were to qualify, it would go to RBPT. Mm-hmm. With Ferrari, it goes to their engine department. With Honda, it goes to, with Aston, it goes to Honda. And with Audi, it goes to their engine department, obviously. It's not allowed to be spent on aero.
Does this also mean that, because obviously this is not something that we're regularly used to, and sort of Formula One taking massive effect of it actually affecting the quality of the racing.
Yeah.
Does this mean that this is retroactive? So, for example, if Honda magically create the best engine ever to exist in Formula One.
With their $11 million.
Yeah, it's not happening, but just hear me out.
Yeah.
And if Mercedes just dropped massively with the new
compression ratio
testing and banning and
we'll
whatnot,
get there shortly.
Does that mean that if Mercedes drops, they then get that $11 million and Aston don't? Or does that mean that it's season locked in?
No, it's every 6 races.
Every
so the
6 races
timer
it
resets now, and then by what should be race 12, which will actually be race 10, then
post summer break?
Yeah, just before the summer break. Then the clock resets. So they look at from now, the clock has reset now. So whatever happens between now and race 10, that's what they look at for the next set of concessions. And it's rolling 6, right? And it will go on, supposedly it will go on for years.
Yeah.
It feels boppy.
It feels very boppy.
But I like it.
I think it's a good thing.
I like it.
And it's good that they've restricted it to just the engine, right? It's not about aero performance.
Let's not put elephants in the car.
Yes.
Yeah, my only concern is
McLaren will suffer. I know.
No.
It's a hard cross to bear.
No. My only concern is we've had a system like this in MotoGP, but it hasn't really helped.
It hasn't.
This system is up for debate on whether it would help Aston catch up. It could.
But the MotoGP thing isn't about budget, it's about time.
True.
It's about testing time and simulation time and how many bikes you're allowed to run. It's not about money.
True.
And obviously money solves all problems because money has made Lance Stroll a racing driver.
I also think, again, it feels boppy. And when you look at Aston Martin in WEC.
Yes.
The fact that
great example.
They came 4th in Spa.
Yeah.
Having been, basically equivalent to the deficit they have now in F1 at the start of last year. I mean, that's huge. So I think it does work. I also think it's sensible, as you said, to just limit to engines because that's really the focus of this regulation phase. Yeah. And in a way, I like the fact that they've still given a bit of freedom in other areas to offset potentially any balancing because of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's clever.
It's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, I think
it's doing something which is helpful.
I think it's time to sort of wait and see what the result of it is. But again, I'm quite happy that it's engine
You're
and
so
not
negative, man. Like this is the first good thing they've done.
It's I'm happy that it's to engine providers because it does feel that if it was also aero, it would teams that aren't struggling.
Teams would sandbag, of course they would.
Yes, teams would sandbag to get the benefit, and then it turns out that magically now Aston Martin don't get anything, even though they're the slowest car on the grid.
In the same way that obviously Alpine sandbagged for the last 6 years, Cyril's plan.
Cyril's 5-year
now
plan.
Be the best midfield car on the grid.
They just shoved Horner at the back.
Steady on.
I'm sure he would have loved that.
So to answer the question, it's here. It's arrived. It's here, and we will start to see the benefits probably post Monaco. Right, Tim, Monaco.
Ferrari,
McLaren and Red Bull in the mix. Do you agree?
Yeah, probably. I think Red Bull are the least of the three in contention.
Okay. Even with Max
Max, Super Max.
Verstappen.
I think, okay,
Okay, Red Bull not in the mix. Max Verstappen in the mix.
hang on. I think Hadjar's been good. I think, look, Ferrari always perform well in Monaco. McLaren also performed quite well in Monaco.
True.
Red Bull not performed so well in the last few years.
Yep.
But Max is Max. So I don't think you can ever rule them out. But I think if you go on packages,
yep,
Ferrari are probably the favourites, and I probably would put McLaren second.
Are we back again, like we were at the start of the season, talking about Charles Leclerc package?
I love Charles Leclerc's package. Yeah, I think it's very good in Monaco.
Well, it's not available anymore. He's put a ring in it, hasn't he?
Like a contract.
But I think Mercedes don't typically run well in Monaco.
No, and they were, at least in the sprint, McLaren had them. They were there with them, right? So that combined with their 18-1 compression loophole has now been closed as of yesterday, as of time of recording, so the 1st of June, which means Mercedes will now have to play by everybody else's rules.
Yep.
Sucks to be you, bro.
Which again, I don't think will make as much of an impact because there's no crazy straights.
No. And I think, like we
Monaco,
said way back when, 6 months ago, people want you to look here because you're doing something over here. So I actually don't know if the 18
Yeah, I don't think that's the issue.
It's going to make a massive difference. I agree. But they also, and I think this is really interesting, have applied some unique rules for this weekend, the FIA. Which I think is clever because typically, well, they've never really done this. They've just sort of said you have the same car. Teams will put on the extra steering to get around the hairpin, and they always cater their first gear basically for that corner. But the FIA finally have kind of gone, right, well, we can actually recognise that this is a totally unique challenge to the other races in the weekend. So the nice thing about that is that they have not banned, but active aero is not going to be...
There will be no zones.
There's no zones.
Straight line mode zones.
They've basically just taken overtake mode on the start-finish straight.
Hit straight.
Which, of course, is really the only place you can do it. Unless you go up the hill, around the sweeper, maybe.
Yeah, I just don't think there's enough space there.
Do we want a Perez situation on that?
Always.
Massive crash on the
I love a Perez situation.
Kind of straight going up.
What's not to like? He's sponsored by Kit Kat. Without Perez, we wouldn't have had the Kit Kat Formula 1 car.
Did
Perez, I like the Kit Kat Formula 1 car.
Did Perez steal all the Kit Kats that got lost? Do you think that's what it was?
Well, I mean, he definitely cheated on his wife that year that he won the Monaco Grand Prix. So, did he win? Yeah,
he did. Yeah,
maybe he just made a big woman statue out of all the missing Kit Kats and
carry on, Tim, please. Before he carries
they've
on.
Just applied the old DRS zone as the overtake zone, and the active area is not really going to feature. But there are concerns about the braking zones and the acceleration zones are not straight enough, basically to
charge to have
the aero changes.
Yeah, to have a sudden change of profile. Okay. That's essentially what they've done. It is like the traction zones are not. Yeah, they're not a straight line. It's a street circuit. There's not enough space to benefit from it in certain areas.
If your aero is changing while your turn, even a slight turn, you're gonna spin. Also, they've applied this Rev 1 setting.
I like this.
Which means that cars are not allowed to run the battery beyond 300 kilometers an hour, which of course is exactly what it's like in a normal car. As soon as you get above, at least in a self-charging hybrid, I think once you get beyond 20, it's like, no, Rev 1 activated, he
just brought a self-charging hybrid.
And the taper will begin to drop from 350 kilowatts at 200 kilometers an hour.
Yep.
Which basically is much lower than the usual 290 kilometers an hour, because you're never really going to get to 290 kilometers an hour.
So basically that is to restrict them to no more than 300 kilometers an hour at any point in Monaco, which I don't think you could get to. Maybe the end of the tunnel. Maybe the end of the tunnel.
Maybe the end of the tunnel.
Or maybe up the hill. Yeah, so basically they've changed the deployment profile of the battery, which is interesting.
As long as it's for safety, it
is
makes
for
some
safety,
sense.
but there is a nice spicy benefit to this.
Yeah.
You don't need to lift and coast.
Woo!
We're gonna race. We're gonna race all weekend long.
Yes.
Does that mean no super clipping at all?
No super clipping, no Lyco, no nothing.
What it should have been from the start of the season.
Yeah, but you can't just race in Monaco spec every weekend.
I think this will be one of the better races, and I think people will stop being mean about Monaco.
I mean, to be fair, Monaco finishes and starts on the Saturday most years.
As it should.
Apart from the
As it should. I think
Charles
having a
one.
different challenge one weekend of the 24 is fine.
Yes. I agree entirely, and so does IndyCar, and so does WEC, and so does the touring car, the endurance racing that Max Verstappen does. What's
Isn't it
called?
GT racing or something?
What's it called? Because they only do the Nürburgring 24 hours once, right? Everything else is like different track endurance stuff.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. The GTs.
so having this unique challenge is fine. I agree with it. Absolutely.
And people need to get over themselves.
Yes.
And remember that it's cool to make business deals at Monaco.
It's a world
And just because you're not making those business
championship.
deals doesn't mean that someone else isn't having a great time.
It's a
Have some
world
empathy.
championship. It
Does-
should be representative of the world.
Does this mean that the cars will be different for the drivers to race, or
I think they'll feel like old school Formula One cars a little bit.
yeah? Because this might affect the result to a degree,
Yes.
just on the basis that.
Because Charles Leclerc will win.
Oh, okay. Do you want me to get? Do you want me to
been
get
huffing
clown
some
makeup
hopium this morning.
and a wig?
I've been huffing some hopium this morning.
Yeah.
I wore my Ferrari jacket in.
Yeah, you did.
This is the week.
This is the week.
Of course, Russell's got a point to prove. And
Yeah,
Monaco is not the best track to come to with a point to prove.
especially for aggressive driving. If you make a mistake,
George
it's-
was very aggressive in Canada.
yeah, it's,
Unusually so.
the walls in Canada aren't as close as Monaco. If he makes one mistake, it looks stupid.
I know we didn't talk about or we sort of ruled Mercedes out, but I think Kimi could really he could challenge the podium.
I tell you, if Kimi is in with a shout to win this race and then does it, that's season over for me.
Yeah,
I think that's it. Right? He's proved himself.
Okay.
all the ones he's won at have
That
been
would be
completely different
5 on the
circuits.
bounce, completely different circuits, and he's won Monaco,
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is a real test of focus and sort of mental
No,
strength.
again, it's a different challenge.
yeah. How many times in the last say 20 years has the driver that won Monaco not won the title?
Charles Leclerc.
I didn't realise that, but yes.
No, come on,
Mark
like
Webber?
Bottas. Hami's never been brilliant around Monaco
No,
as well.
no.
Bottas won a few.
Bottas won a few. Raikkonen has won a few in years where he's not won the championship. Jarno Trulli won once.
Yeah,
That was good. That was fun times. Marcus Winkelhock never won the Monaco Grand Prix,
no, but he wasn't a world champion either.
but he did lead 100% of the races he took part in. So
Yeah, with how many drivers left in it?
The GOAT.
that's the statistics don't lie. Just saying. Right, as we mentioned earlier, there will also be extra traffic problems in Monaco because there are 2 extra cars on the grid.
Yes.
So Q1 will have 22 cars and Q2 will have 18. Wait, how many do we eliminate in Q1 these days?
6.
So that will leave
16.
16. So we still get
We still get 10 at the end.
we still get 10 at the end. We just eliminate 6 in each now. Is that right?
Yeah.
So so we'll have an extra car in each session. That's going to be a problem. However way you look at it, that's going to be a problem. And it's going to be a problem all weekend long because FP1 and FP2 and FP3 will be a problem. Why don't we have a Monaco sprint In reverse.
Because it's not really a sprint; it's just pure procession.
In reverse.
What round
Reverse grid.
No, reverse the track.
Okay. Mirror mode.
I wouldn't like to come out the tunnel the other way around.
Why?
That's a sharp left.
It's a very sharp left.
You're a sharp left.
I think if you did a sort of reverse grid, didn't apply points to the championship, but just like they said they were going to do with the sprints and have a sprint championship,
Yeah.
independently of the world championship. If you had a reverse grid championship,
Nice. What if you did the Formula E track?
They don't do that track anymore.
I know, but you know what I mean.
oh, we spoke about
anymore.
we spoke about this
We have spoken about this a lot. Yeah.
with the Triple Crown on our Triple Crown episode,
Yeah.
or maybe last year, just when we were talking about potential improvements.
We've been doing this for over a year now.
Yeah,
It came up on my thing when I first started sharing the podcast stuff.
nice. But yeah, it's and there was that loop around the top.
Yes, there's an extra loop where if you go left,
If you go left-
Portier,
Yeah,
yeah,
and then your tunnel straight is much bigger, so you.
then you would be able to get in straight line mode and plenty of overtakes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
That was the solution we came up with.
before we carry
which
on
no
with
one's
Monaco,
listened to us.
insane circuits. Have you seen Kadea is back with its new renders and they've started building it? You know this?
No, I haven't.
You know this other Saudi Arabian circuit where they've got like the skyscraper ramp up to.
Oh
turn
yeah,
one?
yeah.
They're building it and it's real. I thought it was a joke. It's not. It's real. And
Yeah,
it's insane.
what's that Mario Kart track where you go up the loop
Rainbow
and you come
Road?
back down? No. It's another one. It's on like Mario Kart 8 or something.
Sure. It feels like the old Donkey Kong track where you would shoot out of a barrel straight up and then come immediately down the hill.
Yeah.
I mean, but yeah.
It does feel a bit. Yeah, it feels a bit video gaming.
Before we finish the podcast, this episode at least, Monaco memories, boys. So what do we have? I've got one, but I just wanted to see if you guys. have
Lando
anything.
Norris winning. Oh my god, it was so good.
Have I moved?
No, that was lame. Charles
Charles Leclerc.
naturally.
Okay.
I have two choices. Either Jaguar crashing with the diamond on the front
I want it going missing.
and it going missing and that being hilarious, or Leclerc getting pole and then binning it in a wall.
I don't want him back on the podcast. There's the door. See yourself out. For me, it's Kimi Räikkönen in 06. He'd absolutely dominated in 05, like absolutely dominated. And then in 06, he was chasing Alonso down for the win. His engine basically catches fire. One of the heat shields caught fire for the second time that race weekend. And he decided, you know what? I'm done with this.
Oh, on the boat.
Walked down the tunnel, got off at the harbour, jumped on his boat, took his race suit and helmet off, started drinking, watched the rest of the Grand Prix from his boat, never even came back for a debrief, never came back for his media duties, just chilling on his boat.
That was McLaren era.
That was
Kimi,
in
wasn't it?
McLaren era, and actually 06
Yeah.
was also the year where Schumacher, it's a great clip, where Schumacher does his Rascasse antics, and then Keke, I think I mentioned it because actually I think last year's Monaco Grand Prix, Formula One put out the highlight video, and Keke Rosberg comes out of the Williams garage, because obviously he's there with Nico, and says, it really shows what kind of a man, he is to do something like that, blah, blah, blah. And then literally 10 years later, Nico does almost exactly the same thing at the bottom of the hill.
Yep.
I just think it's funny. And in that video, they showed Michael's and then Nico's, and in the middle is Keke going, anybody who would do this, I mean, they're really not much of a man, are they? And then Nico does exactly the same thing 10 years later. I'm like, perfect.
The other one that we talked about last year was the Senna versus Mansell.
Oh, that is
battle.
such a good race. Yeah, that is such a good race.
That was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it could be epic this year. Don't get me wrong.
I'm excited. I always am excited.
It could be epic. It could be an absolute snooze fest. It could be the best nap I'll ever have.
I don't think because inherently F1 cars are just bigger now. I don't think McLaren,
Well, smaller than last year.
Yeah, I don't think Monaco is ever going to be that exhilarating race again.
But it never was that. This is our
No.
point that we made, right? It never
tension.
was that.
No,
It was
built up a lot.
Yeah, but it's the fear factor and it's the risk.
It's pressure, it's risk, it's mental
That's
focus.
what's exciting about Monaco. It's never been a great circuit for overtaking, and which is why when people make the argument of there's just no overtakes, it's like shut up. Like, that's not. It never has been. And the Senna Mansell fight.
It proves that.
That exactly right.
I feel like
Mansell was in the faster car and should have, and any other track would have overtaken him.
Yeah,
but it
didn't. But he was trying to force Senna into a mistake, which would have allowed him to overtake him, and that's the point. And Senna's mental beans were bigger than Mansell's mental beans.
Exactly. And that's what makes it an exciting race.
No, it is. Okay, boys. Well, I'm going to call this episode right there. Thank you both for joining me again. Make sure, guys at home, that you are getting involved on our social side. And if you want to get your questions to us and have Jake absolutely butcher them, please do get in touch via Patreon at AAT Apex or become a member for free. You can also get in touch on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, at AAT Apex, and you can get in touch with us on Spotify. The Spotify comments come directly through to me like straight away as an email, so that is perhaps the fastest way to get in touch. Or Patreon, you can get in touch with us via becoming a member, and then you can also chat with us during the race weekend. They come through as chat bubbles, so that's easy to do as well.
The other one I want to mention is you talked about it briefly earlier. We have our from our perspective series. And what that basically is we'd love to hear your perspectives.
Yes.
And if you want to write a short paragraph or something to talk about the weekend, we chuck them online in a big forum.
Typically go on sort of 1 to 2 days after the event, so that gives time for people to get it in, and I usually crowdsource friends and family for that. But
so if you want to provide a slightly longer account that is not just an abusive Instagram comment under Lando Norris's Instagram post, then that's a great place to do it.
Correct.
Or a gif of Chris motionless.
You're just bitter because it's not a phase. Right. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace.